Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ellen. So today we're painting a really cute little fall house. I go about simple step by step and creating cute little fall houses and show you how to draw a bunch of them on your own. And then we go in and paint this. If you're a Patreon member, you get the traceable that goes with this. If you want to be a Patreon member, click the link in the description box to join. I give you a bunch of ideas to create different houses. Take some photographs of houses around where you are and just kind of use the technique to do a simple house step by step. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, let's go over some of the things we're going to be using today. I'll be using my Fabriano 5x7 100% cotton cold pressed paper block for the card. Just going to go over different ways you can draw like a cute little fall house. There's so many different ways. Go look at some photographs, go look at some houses around where you live, and make it simple for yourself. Here's about a Cape Cod type style house. That's just a rectangle. You can just do a door off to the right with 1 or 2 windows. And the roof is like this. Could have 1 or 2 chimneys. The doorway could have a wreath on it. There could be a fence. And then, of course, windows. Like this. They could have shutters and no shutters. They could have siding. No siding. That's one way to do it. You can do like more of a colonial. Same type of thing, but now it's more of a box, right? And then you got the front door, could have some detailed architecture details. And you've got the windows with the shutters. They'll be like this. Look at, I don't know what style house you own. If you don't own a house, you can look at some houses that you drive by, right? And then of course we'll have a tree here. I'll go over how we paint a tree, but it's a colonial, there's Victorians with porches. The less detailed might be better for you. I think more of like this. We're going to do more similar to a Cape Cod style house. Again, the doorway could be to the left or the right. Maybe have some cute little windows. More of a cottage kind of style vignette. Make your life easy. You could have little bushes, but if it's the fall, the bushes are kind of gone. And you can have a little walkway. You could put some pumpkins out front. So that's the idea, right? What I do is I take this paper and I'll kind of, again, I'm not going to really use, you can use a ruler to start, but I kind of just sketch it. So you want to slow me down. I'm just mechanical pencil. I figure the roof is going to kind of go here. So I'll start the roof here. I'm just lightly sketching one of those roofs we saw, the house. And I'll get a ruler and I'll just kind of figure out, do I want the door to left or right? And I think on this side I'm going to do right. And I'm going to fix my roof in a second. So I'm going to just kind of map out, again, this fence. You know, it could have a gate and has some pumpkins in front of it. And then for the tree, just a simple tree trunk here. And then we'll figure out some leaves kind of coming down over it, off the paper, etc. You could do another tree kind of flanking it here, or at least leave one tree. Let's maybe do like another one here. So that's my initial sketch, and I'll kind of tweak it. So once you figured out your house, like I said, Patreon members get the trace here if they want one. It's just a simple house. Again, simple windows. I add little pumpkins and a fence. And you can do ink and wash with this or not. And I think I'm going to make the house gray. So ultramarine blue deep and burnt sienna. Make a nice gray. The more blue you add, the more gray it gets. Blue gray, vice versa. So just seems like it makes sense for, I'm turning this sideways, and I'm using a number 12 Princeton Neptune series brush. Just wash the color in. Normally on a big piece of anything I'm painting, you want to go top to bottom, left to right. You don't want to outline. It's not a good idea. It's such a small area that the top to bottom thing isn't going to be serious consequence, but I would never suggest that you outline this square rectangle part and then and then fill it in, because you'll have like weird edges. So I'm just going to go down to the bottom here. Fill it all in. And why I like to use these two colors all the time. The granulating colors, they make really kind of cool effects. And I'm tilting it on its side, so I can just go like this. And the house isn't perfectly painted in, and I don't really need to have it that way. I am going to make the roof gray as well, but a deeper color. Look at the nuance of the colors. We got some yellowish brown kind of coming through and some blue coming through. Fantastic. So for the background ground color, let's get into fall. Obviously we're going to have pumpkins in the front, but we're going to have some oranges and some beiges, some yellows. So we can just take some cadmium yellow deep, add some burnt sienna to it. Or if you have yellow ochre, that's nice. Water this down. This is a nice good wash to kind of stick in first. A little bit lighter, I'll add some more water to it. Do some dry brushing kind of down here. And back here, hill. You see I did a tree with a little tire swing. Oops. I got some yellow paint right there. You know, if that happens to you, put some water on it real quick. Paper towel close by, lift it, paint. It's never happened again. And I'm going to add a little bit back here for the land part. Keep your landscape pretty simple. Now I want to add cadmium red light to that, so we have a nice orange. Orangey kind of tone. A little more yellow. Make it yellow orange. Tap it. If it's too wet, I can just tap it on my paper towel and get a little more drier. And we're going to start to play with this, putting this color down. We can get a little deeper, but I just want to add, I just like to make it lighter in the beginning. And do little tippy taps out here for leaves. So I'm going to go back here, add a little bit more orangey kind of tones. And then tippy tap out here that the leaves have fallen. We can get a little deeper the color too, going up in here. Tippy tap the orange. It's still very damp. Now my little pumpkins in the front, we're going to have to define them more. It's very, very wet, so we're going to leave that. We're going to do the tree. So I use ultramarine blue deep and burnt sienna again for a tree color. I could use an 8 long round for Princeton Velvet Touch series for this now, this part. So I'll take those two colors, I'll make a nice tree color. Add a little more blue, get some more grayish brown. Perfect color though for a nice brown tree. And has a great tip to make some branches. I'm going to wait a bit because it's still wet in the bottom down here. I'm going to just twist my paper. If you don't have a liner brush, you can just use this. I'm not going to hit that roof yet because we haven't painted it. And again, there's that tree color. See, it's still bleeding down there, so I don't want to kind of hit the bottom yet. Just going to go up here a little bit, taking the brush. See, I'm kind of swinging it out. Little branches, kind of this way. And we have another tree back here. Little skinny sucker. I like to do things in threes. Woohoo! Thicker paint of those two colors. Here's the blue and here's the burnt sienna. We'll make a nice deep, almost black color. So if you want to get a little darker, in some areas. See, I'm going a little bit darker now. Just tapping in a little bit, kind of on the bottom. This is still damp, it's drying, so I can kind of pull this down now, the tree. And I can use that darker color kind of where it's meeting like the branch for the shadow. I'm going to pull this down here. The trees. I'm going to do the roof now. I'm just going to move some of this orange. Same colors, the blue. I love these colors. And burnt sienna. Now we're going to get a little bit deeper or darker for our roof color for the gray. See? Same colors, but now they're much darker. So, like I said, top to bottom, left to right. But it's a small area. Just don't outline it and fill it in. It's much better if you work this way. Get used to working top to bottom, left to right. You have to kind of turn upside down to go like this to get a nice even line. Do that. This has a great point, this brush. Voila. Nice little, look at that. I love the granulation that's happening with those two colors. Again, beautiful. You can keep the trim white, like it's a Cape Cod house, and just fill in. I'm going to add those two colors again, deeper, darker. For the windows, just going to go in. Gotta mix this up better. And you just kind of go in and leave the white window pane. It can be fairly tedious to do this. Another way is to kind of fill it in and just use white watercolor to make your life less crazy. But where's the joy in that? Kind of lifting some paint so it's not a perfect window, and that's the beauty of the watercolor. The door can be a different color too, if you want to have a red door, blue door, but usually Cape Cod homes have like the bluish door, so I can use this color called Verde Blue or Make a Blue, Verde Blue with ultramarine blue, just water it down, and I would just do the first pass of this color, or you can make it a brown door. I'll do a little brown up top. Get a little bit thicker with this color. Just adds a little punch. Blue and orange are opposite colors, so it's going to give a little punch to it. And of course, our chimney, just a red. You can use, I'm going to water down some Pyro Ruben and some cadmium red light. Ooh, red chimney. Listen, this is not like a serious painting, so don't get crazy. And you know what I mean? All right, so this is dry the orange. Go back in here. Kind of do like a little tap or roll, right, for your leaves. You could do little tippy taps like this, kind of sideways. If it helps, like this. The color kind of really dried up really light back here. So I'm going to water some of it down and kind of mush it back here. And while that's happening, I'll make some brown with the either burnt umber or burnt sienna. And I'll tap some browns in here. Burnt umber is great to tap with a little bit of Payne's gray. And get that nice deep dark brown. So while this is damp, you see I'm kind of just tapping that color. Like they're dying. The leaves are dying. I'm grabbing some more orange. If this orange is too bright with the red and the yellow, we can tone it down with a little burnt umber. We have our little pumpkins in the front too. So just a little bit of color, getting a little bit wet here with the orange. Tap, and then we've got the little tap in front for the leaves. It helps just to go sideways. Right, and then you add the little brown, as I stated before. While it's bleeding. Brown, orange. I don't recommend splattering because I got that in my pumpkin. It can make kind of a mess. All right, detail now. Pumpkin, go in for the kill. Look at this nice reddish yellow, orangey color. You just kind of fill this in. There's our little pumpkins. We'll add some shadows to them so they pop out more, but just fill them in with the orange. Obviously the tire swing is gray, so put a nice gray tone, a light tone first before we put in our deeper colors. Right. Now for the tree itself, go back up here with our oranges. And we're just going to tippy tap and roll, tap, roll. This is where you could splatter a little bit. We're going to roll a little bit. See, I'm kind of tapping and rolling. Roll and tap. Roll and tap. We have some floating ones out here. Woo! It's a breezy day. And then roll and tap. While some of the areas are damp, you can add a little bit deeper red color. So I might grab some pyrrole and put that in there. Tap and roll. And the trees don't have to be all orange. You can add some bright yellow. I'm going to add some bright yellows in there. A little bit of green too on the ground. So I'm getting a little bit of bright yellow because it's like yellow turning into orange. Change it up. So mine's some yellow, yellow. If it's right out of the tube, you can kind of have it floating over the house a little bit. And loosen up some yellow and orange, whatever. Splatter a little bit up top. Not everywhere, just a little bit. And kind of down here. And they're falling, so they gotta go like they're falling down. See? Tip tap, they're falling. All the leaves are falling on the ground, even over the window. All that good stuff. Put some yellow, like thick yellow paint kind of down in here too, because you want to match, make it make sense. I'm adding some yellow. I put a little pop of green in there, so I'm going to grab some peacock blue, make that bright little green kind of pop in there somewhere. Like we still have some green left. It hasn't all died yet. Put that in the front here. Yeah, getting to the detail part. So liner brush, or you can see the pencil line, ultramarine blue deep and burnt sienna together, make that deep gray. If you want siding on your house, I use a liner brush because it makes perfect little lines. And I'm just going to do dashes. So you see, I can still see my pencil lines. Quickly, kind of just going through on some of them. These are real detailed stuff, and then we'll do the fence in a second. The lantern we'll do in a second too. So it's kind of broken little lines. And you can just do like a little T, little crosses, so it looks like shingly siding. This architecture detail, I'm going to go and highlight that. And on these windows, same thing. Just go around the windows. Do little T's. Just the lines coming down on some of the siding. And with this lovely little brush, You can get some nice little branches that are kind of broken off, a little bit deeper, darker on your tree. Makes great. I have to come down here for the tire swing. And I'm going to get a little bit darker with my color. I know I should use a smaller brush, a different brush for that, but again, here I'm going to use that for the branches coming over the house because the lovely leaves have fallen off on them. It's a little bit darker, deeper color. Just like so. You can put some lines in with the tree if you want to have some detail on the trunks. It's really up to you. Just giving you some ideas. And we're going to finish her off. It's a her now. The fence. So the same two colors, ultramarine blue deep and burnt sienna. Just judging how wet this is. Don't do it on your pumpkin though, of course. So I'm going to make them a little more brown. I'm going to add some more burnt sienna. That first one was a little too dark, almost like black. I don't want it that color. So I'll just lift. And I have a little fence. Just simple with your brush. This is the 8 long round. Just going straight down. Don't make your life super complicated. We don't have to do this perfect fence. And there's the line attaching the fence. Just going straight down. Using this side of the brush. So it's kind of like on the side. And then you just take the tip and pull it together, go across the line. And on the bottom. Just like so. Just going to tweak that bottom part. Right? And then for our little pumpkin, I'm going to go back. I'm just going to add a little bit of darker reddish orange on the right side of the pumpkin. Add a couple of little lines in the front. And then a brown handle. Or green, but I'm just doing a little brown. You probably can't even see it too much. And if you want to add like a little, I'm going to add in some blue, like a gray shadow. Again, little tweaks under the pumpkin. So you see them better. Gonna add a little gray kind of walkway. So light gray kind of walking out this way. And tweaking that. And I'll add a little gray up this way too. So it's like a street in a way. So now they kind of come to the forefront. Just about done. You can tweak some of the house and the doorway. So the doorway, I get a little bit, add some more grays for the details. So again, on the side to the right, side to the right. A little gray detail on this little lamppost on here. Right? This architectural detail on the side here. The doorway's coming alive. I'm going to get this tire guy a little bit darker here still. You're tweaking. The roof, you can get a little darker if you want. I might add a little shading onto here a little bit. I don't know. I have to play with this. I feel like the house is a little too light. And the roof could be a little bit darker still. Remove that. Just a little bit darker. And of course, add more leaves in the front or whatever. Some grasses, I use that liner brush while it's drying. If you want to add some grasses with some greens. Grass is still there. all those little tweaky things you can do. And last but not least, the light. I mean, we wouldn't put a light on, but maybe you can add like a little yellow in here and add some detail around it with the liner brush, the light black tone. So, I have to wait till the yellow dries. Just tap that. Add a little detail here. It's a little light. And that's about it. Isn't she cute? I'd probably make the roof a little bit darker, but I think it came out great. So play around with that. Let me know your thoughts. Have fun with it. Splatter the trees. It's super simple to make different types of houses. You can play around with all that good stuff. So leave a comment below. If you love my content, consider joining Patreon, where you get the traceable. You get extra stuff on Patreon. We get exclusive on Thursdays, tutorials that are not on YouTube, more intense, more involved. So it just supports me here on YouTube. If you love my content on YouTube and you want to support me as an artist, please consider joining Patreon, and I really appreciate it. So take care, guys. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon.